Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Open Look. My name is John Halim, and I am John the Podcaster. Hey, if you guys haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Guys, it has been the craziest past 24 hours in the NBA. If you guys thought the beginning of free agency was a thing, Kawhi Leonard, guys, he made his decision. He is now a Los Angeles Clipper. If you thought that was the most surprising part of it, that's not even the tip of the iceberg. He somehow figured out a way to get Paul George to convince the Thunder to trade him to the Clippers as well. Here's how the trade shakes down. The Thunder get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, who doesn't even play. He's injured half the time. Listen to all these picks that the Thunder got. The Clippers picks in 2022, 2024, 2026, all unprotected. 2023's pick protected. The Heat's 2021 pick and the right to swap picks in 2023 and 2025. So basically the Clippers are punting on the draft for the foreseeable future here in order to get Paul George, have this nucleus of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. It's right away. You look at this team, and the first thing that comes to my mind, that's the best perimeter defense in the league. But, you know, the more we look at the situation, the more we hear Woj this morning being Saturday, July 6th, he tweeted that the Thunder were trying to convince Toronto to take Russell Westbrook and Paul George in a trade centered around Pascal Siakam, and the Raptors decided they didn't want to do that. It really is going to be interesting to see what their strategy is going to be going forward on the future of their team and what they do going forward. So, for me, I think it would have been an interesting proposition for them to pick up both of those guys. It gives you a chance in the East, but Masai Ujiri thought that he can do better with Pascal Siakam and see what he can do with the guys around him. You got to look at the Clippers though here. I mean, they're the big winners here, right? So immediately the league's best perimeter defense, and I think it immediately makes them the favorites for the title going into this year. The Lakers were the odds-on favorites in Vegas and all the sports books going into the season once the Anthony Davis trade went down, but this kind of came out of nowhere. And a lot of people were thinking that Kawhi was going to end up with the Lakers. And I think personally that if the Clippers couldn't swing that trade for Paul George, that he probably would have ended up with the Lakers. That's probably the reason why we had such a delay in Kawhi making his decision. He was waiting on the Clippers to pull off this trade. According to Woj and some of the other experts here, Paul George made the request to be traded earlier on as soon as the free agency period opened up. So this hasn't been like an overnight thing. It didn't happen where Sam Presti got the call, this morning and, they decided to consummate the trade. It takes time, especially when you have so many moving parts, like all these draft picks and prospects and such. It's not exactly like a thing you can handle in a 10-minute call. It takes some time. So that's probably what it was. I don't think Kawhi was vacillating back and forth on what he wanted to do. I think he really had his heart set on playing for the Clippers with Paul George, and if that couldn't happen, he probably was going to end up being a Laker. But let's look at this from the Clippers perspective. Immediately front runner for the championship, like I said. They'll be competitive for a while, too, as long as they can keep Paul George. Paul George is a free agent in 2021, assuming he doesn't opt into his contract. I believe he has a contract clause, which he can opt out of next year. I'll have to check on that. We are going to do a follow-up podcast, which we're going to post on YouTube as well, Dave and I. Speaking of which, if you guys haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so right now. As soon as you do that, go ahead and hit that bell icon right next to the subscribe button. What that does is it gives you notifications as soon as any of our videos drop. So when Dave and I put up our next video sometime this week, possibly Wednesday, you'll be the first to know that it happens. But, they're going to be competitive for a while as long as they can keep hold of Paul George. The return on investment, I think, is spectacular for them. They gave up one prospect one guy, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who really has value. Danilo Gallinari is injured all the time. He doesn't even play. So, I mean, I guess they had to throw someone in there to make the salaries work. But all those draft picks, those are going to be late draft picks. I don't really see them being, the end-all, be-all for the Clippers. They traded away their draft forever. And they're going to be pretty good. So, and I think with this move, they're going to still be competitive in free agency if they can clear cap space. They got Jerry West over here calling shots. Lawrence Frank is no scrub either. Doc Rivers is a draw for players. So I think that is just kind of the perfect storm here. And not to mention, they got the richest owner in the NBA. They're going to spend money, and they're thinking of getting their own arena. They're moving out of Staples. They're slowly but surely getting out of the Lakers' shadow. And as a Laker fan, that kind of scares me a little bit. But it just remains to be seen here. In the past, if anybody could screw things up, it was the Clippers. But looks like they're turning that around. Let's look at this from the Raptors' perspective. I think at this point, now that Kawhi Leonard is gone, they're not better than Milwaukee. They're not better than Philadelphia. They're not better than a lot of teams in the East. I think arguably Indiana is better than them. So it might be smart to find people to take Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka's contracts off your hands and just kind of, build around youth. They're both on expiring contracts. Kyle Lowry at 33 years old, he's got $34 million that are going to be coming off of the books. So that's a valuable trade chip for somebody who wants to clear up the cap space. Thing is, the 2020 free agent class is, not as strong, not nearly as strong as this class, and not as strong as the 2021 class. So if somebody's angling for space for this free agent class, the pickings are going to be pretty slim. So again, remains to be seen what the thought process is here. Masai Ujiri can just kind of keep those guys. You're going to have $57 million coming off the books if you hang on to both of them. So that's 2 max free agents that you could potentially bring in if you can create some further space by making some trades. Thing is, Toronto, we saw Kawhi leave there because of several reasons. It's the tax situation first and foremost. I mean, the face value of the contract that Kawhi Leonard could have been able to sign was like $50 million more. But according to like Forbes magazine, it would have been about $11 million less over the course of the contract had he, or as he moves to the Clippers. So he's actually making more playing with the Clippers. He's going to pocket more money playing for the Clippers. And of course you have Los Angeles and its surroundings and, the entertainment industry and the business that you could do in Los Angeles. So there's a lot there for Kawhi to take advantage of. So from a money perspective, it's tough for Toronto, but they can't compete with Milwaukee, Philly, Indiana, all these teams. So you're going to have to figure out what your future plan is. If I'm Toronto, I'm satisfied with the fact that I have a guy like Masai Ujiri calling those shots. He's shown that he's capable of building a championship roster. Granted, they kind of ran into the perfect storm. They were one shot away from losing to Philly. Golden State were decimated by injuries. There's a lot going on there that, perfect storm that enabled them to win this title. Let's not take away anything from them. They're a great team, but, they did have a lot of help along the way. Let's not deny that. Is it time to break it up? I said on the podcast in our season preview that I thought Toronto was ripe to do that when they fired Dwayne Casey, that it should have been the time would have been now to kind of blow it up and start over. Masai Ujiri had that in mind since he first took that job with Toronto. Let's see what they do. They might just run it back without Kawhi, see if they can get somebody on the free agent market. I don't know what their cap situation looks like, but we'll again discuss that in our follow-up episode here. This is just kind of a quick fire, just letting you guys know my initial thoughts on the trade and the signing here. But hey, for Toronto, it was fun while it lasted. They wouldn't have dreamt in a million years. I mean, when they first started this franchise, they were not expecting to be the most competitive franchise. I mean, in my mind's eye. I mean, they're in Canada. Again, the tax situation, players are not going to flock to go there. They've had some good players throughout the years, but, it just hasn't been the basketball hotspot that you would have expected a championship city to be in. And they got it. They won one. It was good. It was fun while it lasted. It's not going to happen next year. They're not going to repeat. A lot of things need to happen for them to do that. It's going to be miraculous if they do. So, just you're going to go out in the second round of the playoffs, if that, and, that's it. So perhaps you want to create some financial flexibility. create some financial flexibility and move forward with that. It remains to be seen. A lot of people are going to say that the biggest loser in this situation is the Lakers. But I disagree with that. I don't think they're losing. They just don't have an unbeatable top 3 players. If Kawhi would have joined them, that would have been, you could have said at least 3 or 4 championships. And as a Laker fan, it breaks my heart he decided to go to the other side of the building. But, it is what it is. They still have Anthony Davis. He's a really good basketball player, guys. They still have LeBron James. He's one of the best basketball players to ever pick up a basketball. I mean, let's not cut them short. They're still a very good team. They've actually signed some guys. They got Danny Green at 2 years, $30 million. I think that's steep. Quinn Cook, they signed from the Golden State Warriors, 2 years, $6 million. They brought back JaVale McGee, 2 years, $8 million. They brought back Kentavious Caldwell-Pope at 2 years, $16 million. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has made a lot of money playing for the Lakers. His first contract was $18 million. Last year was $12 million. Here he's going to pick up another $16 million. So, wowzers, $30 million, and then now another $16 million. So the Lakers have written checks, or are going to have written checks for $46 million to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. But, I mean, looking at what they're doing here, all these 2-year contracts, they're looking with an eye towards 2021 because they want to bring someone in to pick up where LeBron is going to leave off and team with Anthony Davis. Also, what you're going to want to think here, and just kind of silver lining as a Lakers fan, I want to be optimistic. Anthony Davis is still a free agent at the end of this year. I don't know what 12 months as essentially Chris Bosh was going to do for him if he was going to decide to stick around after that 12 months. So I think that could have been a bullet that was dodged. Now LeBron is going to be able to build up Anthony Davis. He's going to make him into the superstar, the winning superstar that we all know that he can be. Load management is going to be an issue. These guys are not going to be playing full throttle throughout the entire 82-game season because they're both LeBron he's later in his years, and Anthony Davis is injury prone. He's had injuries virtually every year he's played in the league. I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Lakers continue to build out this roster. You've already got Jared Dudley. You've already got the other guys that I just mentioned now. You have some shooting there. There's still some other guys on the market that you could potentially bring in. You've got Marcus Morris. I think will be a great fit with the Lakers. DeMarcus Cousins is still out there. It would be an interesting fit. I don't know if it would be a great fit, but you definitely need some depth. You need some guys to pick up the load for those games that LeBron is going to sit out, or for those games that Anthony Davis is going to sit out, because we know that there's going to be some load management this year. It just is going to be really imperative for the Lakers to fill out this roster properly. And if they don't do that, they're really wasting a great opportunity here where you have 2 top caliber players. I'm sorry, I can't talk this morning, guys. 2 top caliber players who can really make your team into a championship competitor. You've got to surround them with the right talent. And I think if you sit here holding out for 2021 and that becomes like your big thing now, which the Lakers have been prone to doing, I think that's going to be a big mistake. So, let's keep our fingers crossed as Laker fans. And let's hope that they get this right, because they got a great opportunity here. And one thing out of all of this, there's no super team in the league anymore. The Warriors are not a super team anymore. Kevin Durant left. Again, we're going to talk about that in our next episode. Klay Thompson is hurt. Steph Curry, again, load management. They got D'Angelo Russell, but I don't think he's going to set the world on fire. He's D'Angelo Russell, who I think actually would have been a good fit with the Lakers, but, kind of is what it is. But it's going to be a very competitive year this year, guys. I mean, it is going to be a very competitive year. It's wide open. I don't think that the Lakers are favorites to win the championship, despite being a Lakers fan, because I've been to this rodeo before and I've seen how it ends up, i.e. Dwight Howard, i.e. Karl Malone and Gary Payton. I won't get excited until I see the product on the floor. And I'm going to go out with a bold prediction here and say that I don't think the Lakers are going to get past, or I'm not going to say that they're going to get past the top 4 in the West. I think that they're going to be in the 4 or 5 spot coming in this upcoming season. We're going to do another season preview on the podcast like we did last year. It was one of our favorite episodes, and we're going to put it on the YouTube channel here as well. It's going to be a really exciting season, everyone. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. And to get all of our analysis, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down there. Like, comment, let me know if you agree with what I said or if you disagree with what I said. I'm not a basketball prophet in any way, although Dave will tell you that I'm right most of the time. He won't admit it, but yeah, you guys have listened to my predictions, and outside of the Knicks making the playoffs, I was pretty spot on most of the year. But yeah, guys, hit that subscribe button, like the video, comment, let me know if you would agree or disagree. I'm really looking forward to hearing you guys' feedback. So with that, I am John the Podcaster. We will see you next time.